All right, so we've already talked about the keys to success if Georgia wants to win. But so in this video, we're going to talk about the keys to success if Clemson wants to win this football game. There's a few things that have to happen. So just right off the bat, what are a few things that has to happen?
Actually, but
First and foremost, thank you, Cam Smith, with the Just Jesus Network Radio, right above me, internet radio app for
What if
all
we
your.
put it above me too?
Yeah, we can.
we'll just do that.
It might be above him.
Why are you discriminating?
Do
Yeah,
both.
I don't know.
What if we put it in the middle too?
Yeah,
It's
I
three
want
of
it's
them.
going to be somewhere between here and there.
Or
but
all three.
for
All
real,
three.
thank you, Cam Smith, for sponsoring us. It is greatly appreciated.
Absolutely. Appreciate
Internet
the
radio
support.
app for all your preaching, gospel singing. Our boy Dave is on at 8:30 on Saturday mornings.
Saturdays, turn me on before game day.
Give him a listen. Also with American Senior
I need
Benefits.
the viewers. I really need the viewers.
Yeah. We need more viewers on here, though.
Yeah.
American Senior Benefits Insurance Company. Give him a look up for any of your insurance needs. But
So now let's dive into the meat of this video. First of all, as we've said before in some of the other videos that we film, it's freaking game week, boys.
game week.
Let's
dude.
go. Blood's pumping.
300.
I'm ready.
Well, it's not 300, but 270 days since the last
Yeah, I was about to say,
game.
where was he going with that?
Yeah.
I was like, what?
365 days since the last opening week. Put it that way.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, all I know is every Instagram
Something along
every
those lines.
Instagram post that Clemson football puts out, dude, just like gets me so excited.
Yeah, I know.
But basically today we're gonna be talking about the keys to Clemson coming out victorious out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and leaving with a win. Which
Also,
they
our
are.
second home.
Yeah, that is true.
Mommy said the
Stay home.
first key is just go ahead and bench DJ. No
Yeah.
need
Just
to
put Tyson in.
No need
Yeah,
to risk his
which
health.
by the way,
It-
Tyson was cleared this week.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't
Yeah.
play.
Well, hold up. Real
No
quick.
need to risk DJ's health when you know you're gonna lose. So, I'm just-
Was it? I know it was at least his ACL. Was it his Achilles or ACL? Do you
It was his
remember?
Achilles.
If it's his Achilles and he came back out that fast, like that's a miracle.
Yeah, it was like 4 months
Like
or 3 months.
that's not even the doctor.
we
That's straight up the
need
Lord.
a NCAA
Yeah.
And we've seen
investigation
God
on
be
Clemson.
on our side. Remember that NC State field goal kick when we had
Yeah.
Deshaun
Get
Watson? It's
out.
like 2-yard kick. The Lord is on Clemson's side. But all jokes
Get
aside,
out.
Yeah, all jokes.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna throw some keys out there, and I want to stay away from the obvious. We could say the line of scrimmage, even though I might end up kind of
We'll
revisiting
just throw
that
this
a little
out by
bit.
way of obvious. Whichever team wins both lines of scrimmage
And
wins
whoever-
this
yeah.
game.
yeah,
But
which quarterback
which is
plays better? All
outside
that
of-
good
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Which first, I don't have necessarily a specific player, but what I want to say is one of our major keys. I do not think against y'all's D line, because y'all's D line is super elite.
Right.
We obviously lost Travis Etienne. We've got running back talents, running back by committee. When I say this, I do not think we are going to run for 150, 200 yards. I don't think we're going to average 6,
Right.
7 yards a carry. But if Clemson can get enough of a run game, not 100 yards rushing, but
That
enough
Georgia has to respect. It.
enough that Georgia has to respect it, enough that it keeps them on their toes. Even if we're going to have our fair share of -2 to 2 yard
Yep.
rushes in that game, but if we can have enough 4 to 7, a little bit of a burst, just to keep them on their toes enough where
Right.
they're not able to just pin their ears back, go after our inexperienced offensive line collectively
Yeah,
as a group,
right.
just pin their ears back and rush the passer. If we can establish that, that will be a huge key for Clemson becoming.
I agree
And
with you.
I hope that, like you said, we will have those -2 to 2 yard
Absolutely.
rushes.
They're- they're- y'all's D-line is legit,
You're gonna have
especially
a
in
bunch
bunch.
of.
Shut
I
up,
mean,
baby.
matter of fact, like 40 of them.
But no, I hope that the offensive that the offense in itself doesn't, Tony Elliott doesn't go away from that because we're having those. Hope they don't quit trying to run the ball, because the moment that Clemson quits trying to run the ball and just goes past
Oh
heavy,
yeah,
You
we,
lose.
we've seen that, and
Yeah,
in
it
the
doesn't end
and
good.
again, we would lose either way in the LSU national championship game. But in that game, Trevor Lawrence played really bad. Travis Etienne was playing great.
Yeah.
And now part of it was because we were losing, but we just totally abandoned
Right.
the run
Yep.
game. And we've seen that. We've got to be able, and you always have to. You have to
Yeah.
establish some sort of run game. And again, like I said, I'm not saying average 7 yards a carry. I'm not even saying
No,
rush for 100
no.
yards. But as David said, enough to make Georgia somewhat respect it.
Yeah.
And you can't just pin your ears back. You
because
gotta keep-
anytime you can establish that run, it brings those linebackers closer.
Anytime you make one in a game like this with two great teams, and you make one team entirely one-dimensional,
Yep.
you've pretty much already won. the
One
game.
of my keys, and I'm glad you didn't say this, is I think that DJ, don't get me wrong, is a very talented quarterback, if not one of the most talented in the country. Can make the throws that he needs to make, has the arm strength that he needs. But I think one of the biggest keys to this game is going to be the wide receiver's ability to get open.
Right.
With Justin Ross, with Ngata, with Ajuaju, all these different wide receivers. They have the height, they have the body, they have the size to be able to catch a ball, but to be able to create space and get open for DJ to put the ball there is going to be a big key to this game because I do believe that DJ is going to be under pressure a lot. And that's coming from a Clemson fan because our offensive line is young and because Georgia has a great D line. DJ is going to be under pressure, but can the wide receivers create enough space to get open, or is DJ going to have to fit the ball into tight holes, play after play after play after play, and eventually that's going to end an interception.
That's the thing, and basically what both of you are telling me by what you're saying is you need to take some pressure off the young quarterback.
Yeah, for sure.
Because a successful, and the thing is, like John said, Clemson doesn't have to actually run wild. If you do,
I'll be surprised if we run wild. But obviously, go right ahead. I'd love to.
But a respectable run game and receivers getting open makes the game slow down for your quarterback. What you don't want to do is put the game on the young quarterback's shoulder. Now, is DJ good enough to go win the game for you? Sure.
Yeah, I mean, he proved that at Notre Dame last year.
He's good, and this kid is top 5 talent in the nation.
Yeah.
But in such a high caliber game and such a good defense, you don't want to make him do that. And so a respectable run game and receivers creating separation helps him out.
And I'll tell you what, to piggyback off of what you said, and obviously Clemson year in and year out has some of the most talent at wide receiver. And I think even this year we probably have the most talent we've at least ever had. Like depth-wise, top to bottom, under Dabo. We have a ton of depth there.
Right. We don't have that, we've had
Ross now he's come back.
Right. We've had the Sammy Watkins, the DeAndre Hopkins. We don't have that. I mean, Justin Ross
is kind of
right, but not as big as the Sammy Watkins and the DeAndre Hopkins.
But again, to piggyback off of that, it sometimes grows frustrating. You watch Alabama's the games, and it just seems like, and it's not taking anything away from their quarterbacks. It's like, golly, they're wide open. You watch LSU, and it's like, oh my goodness, there's not somebody even near them. And as a Clemson fan, it seems as the majority of the time, unless it's like, I mean, not literally every time, but it's a lot of 50-50 balls.
Right.
It's a lot of tight coverage, and it's like, what in the world? The way they're scheming, and that has been a little bit of a struggle, especially in the big games against Ohio State, against LSU. Has been our wide receivers creating separation. We haven't been that great at it a couple years, so I like that key. But to give another key, and I know I said I would kind of try to stay away from the line of scrimmage, but I have to mention this. We've mentioned how we have an inexperienced O-line. It's not necessarily young. It's just that collectively they haven't played together. They have no starts together as an offensive line. But the defensive lines, I was talking to David about this earlier, are so different. Our D-line, it is big and strong, but it's more the shifty, quick, make a move. Your D-line is more, especially, and it's part of it because the scheme y'all run, the 3-4, are big boys. I mean, huge, 300-plus pounds, all of them. And, yes, we go against what I believe is the best D-line in practice every single day.
Yeah.
Georgia's not far behind that at all, and they're big bodies. That's going to end up wearing on our offensive line, a young offensive line. And we've been kind of, I don't know if Dabo's come out yet, about who our center's going to be. It's been a mix of guys of who really our center's going to be because, I mean, I think they're kind of like 50-50 on really like 3 different guys. And that interior push that D-line could get, especially long-term down the game, because after that wears off those big bodies, that's going to be a big key at how our offensive line does in that.
How if they can sustain constant,
I'll say
another off of DJ.
Another key, if Clemson wants to win this game, I think you have to slow down the Georgia run game. If Georgia runs as successfully, because I know Ohio State passed for a ton of yards.
Yeah.
Ohio State ran for 200 yards against Clemson. If Georgia's running the ball the way they want to, they're hard to beat. And for Clemson to win this game, they've got to either stop or slow down the run game.
Absolutely. And so I'll give not necessarily a key player on the offense side of the ball. Well, I'll try to give a key player on the offense side of the ball, but I don't have a specific player. One of our running backs.
Yeah.
One of our, whether that's Kobe Pace, Lynn J. Dixon, Phil Moffitt, or Will Shipley. Yeah. One of our running backs has to have a good enough game. So that's gonna be my key offensive player.
Yeah, that would be mine too. I agree. Just to go away from that, I'll give you with Ross. Will Ross step up and be the Ross that he was back in 2019? Because it is, it's way different. I know they say he's clear to play and that he's 100%. And that he's even taken hits, and they've even said that he's taken big hits in practice. But regardless, your own players are not going to are not going to hit you as hard as your defensive players, because I guarantee you, and I'm not saying that Kirby Smart's trying to go out there and hurt Ross, but I guarantee you Kirby's not telling his players, hey, when Ross gets the ball, take it a little bit easy on him.
Right.
You know, he's not hurt.
100%.
No, and being like I said, can he get back into that mindset of the 2019 Ross? That's going to be a big key.
And go ahead.
No, I was just say that's like who if I was a Clemson fan, I would pick as my offensive player.
Right.
Because though you have talent and size and measurables, wide receiver, you don't have a proven guy.
Right.
And what you need is Ross to come out there and be that guy.
Be that leader.
That on 3rd down and 10, when you need somebody, DJ's
Step up,
looking.
make a catch.
Yep.
Right. So transition to the defensive side of the ball again. I could easily just go to the line of scrimmage. We're kind of trying to stay away from that. But I think this one's glaringly obvious, at least as a Clemson fan. We've seen our weak point, and the reason we've lost a lot of these big games lately is because of our secondary.
Yeah.
It's not our front seven. It hasn't really been our front four. Now, granted, our pass rush hadn't been the same, when they were coming in as freshmen. So, that didn't help our secondary out, don't get me wrong. But it's how our secondary is going to play, especially our safeties.
Yep.
I believe in Andrew Booth. I believe we're going to be starting Mario Goodrich on the side. We'll be rotating some guys in. I definitely believe in Andrew Booth. He's got to get more consistent, but he's going in his junior year. He should. He obviously has every quality of a lockdown corner. I believe Mario Goodrich is good enough to slow some guys down. But what about Landon Sanders? What about Nolan Turner? Now, Nolan Turner is a savvy player. I love Nolan Turner.
Yeah, been known to step up in big plays.
But let's be honest, he's not that Sunday type guy. He's going to make a smart play, but he's going to get some elite talent. And we've seen him play great against elite talent.
Right.
But how is our secondary, especially our safeties, going to play?
Because
if they play solid, I think we win the game.
Yeah.
If they come out and they look absolutely sus like they have in a couple other big games,
if they
we could get ran off the field pretty easily.
If they play the way they did against Ohio State, it's not going to be good. It's not. But do they have the ability to step up and play well? Yeah, I think they do. But again, I think a lot of that is going to come from how much pressure we can get on DJ. How much time JT has to throw the ball. If he's got 4, 5, 6 seconds, it's not going to be good. Right. Because like we've talked about with the Georgia wide receivers, there's some talented receivers there too. It's not like they're playing a Wake Forest or UConn or something like that.
Absolutely.
But my player on defense, it's probably going to be Skowski. And that's a given. How well can Skowski run that defense? It's definitely, I thought for the longest time he was going to be out for the first half, which I was really worried.
I guess that was just kind of like something somebody said.
Yeah, I just kind of assumed.
So I was really worried about that, but no, he is going to be there for the whole game. If he can stay in the game without getting a targeting call, he's been known.
I hope he does because he's a liability.
He's been known to get those.
Skowski, by what I've seen of Skowski, he's really, really good north and south.
No, he is.
No,
you're right.
But his east and west,
he's definitely
is why he's not an NFL guy.
No, even bigger than that though. And like I said,
he's a great linebacker.
I'm for the player itself. But he's the leader of that defense.
No, he is.
When
he's the quarartack of the defense.
When he's not on the field, not for his talent, but just his mindset of being there. Yeah, his leadership. Yeah,
exactly.
Trenton
Simpson's that silent guy.
Yeah. His knowledge of the defense is key.
Yeah.
But it was so hard for me to think of a key defensive player. I want to pick everybody. I want to go Brian Brees.
Right.
Yeah, Miles Murphy. Yeah.
I want to go the linebacker core. But I have to pick the guy that I've been the most critical of any of any Clemson player ever.
Landon Sanders.
I've been so critical of him because I've seen him miss so many plays.
He has,
that have been costly. Whether that's coming in trying to make a stop on a run play and run defense, whether that's a blown coverage in the secondary.
He's been known to play soft.
Yeah, and what I learned was I didn't realize he was playing with I believe it was a torn labrum, and he was playing with a shoulder injury, and I didn't realize that.
And that can force you to not want to hit.
Absolutely. So that's why I say I believe he's going. I think it's his junior year. It could be. I'm pretty sure it's his junior year. So that's who I got to give to the biggest key. Because if he comes out and he looks entirely different than he did last year, and he looks like a good safety, that could be huge for our secondary. That could make our secondary way better one of the better ones. So that's who I have to say is our biggest key on defense. As hard as it is not to pick everybody else, I'm going Landon Sanders.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, so like we said, the ability to, of course, get pressure on JT, ability for our receivers to get open, create space, and our safety play.
Absolutely. Pretty much the entire defense.
Yeah, pretty much.
If I was a defensive guy, I would pick whoever covers Jermaine Burton. Because if you want to stop Georgia's offense, you got to stop.
It's probably going to be Booth, probably.
Yeah.
And that's my thing. Is Booth a guy that plays one side of the field no matter what, or is he a guy that's been known to shadow?
Which last year we rotated so much.
Yeah.
I mean, some games he wouldn't even see much playing time, which he was in a little bit of discipline trouble a little bit last year. But I will ask you this real quick, David, which that might be it. From the Georgia perspective, what would be your one major key?
My major key from a Georgia perspective, I think you need to see the safety step up. But I think the biggest key, I think you need to see Andrew Booth be locked down. Because if Andrew Booth can lock down whoever he's covering at any given time, that the Clemson defense goes from great to greater.
Yeah.
And the thing is, as good as Booth is, and Booth has strengths and has weaknesses.
Yeah, absolutely.
Booth is a guy that you may see Jermaine Burton get 6-7 yards separation on. But at the same time, Booth is a guy with a 50-50 ball. Booth can make a play on a ball in the air. Booth is really good at playing the ball in the air.
He is.
That's his biggest strength.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
Just from what I've gathered on him. And Georgia's, similar to what y'all mentioned, Clemson is 50-50 balls. Because we believe, if we give Jermaine Burton a 50-50 ball, if we give Kearse, that these guys can come down with it, well, Andrew Booth isn't necessarily the guy that you want to.
Right. We throw 50-50 balls.
Right.
Too.
But and this is the thing, Andrew Booth's never really had to cover a pure route runner, a pure specialist at route running. Chris Olave, good receiver, not necessarily a great route runner. Same thing with Garrett Wilson, not great route runners. And those are two of the best he's had to look at, match up with. Jermaine Burton's a really good route runner. Marcus Rosenby at Georgia's X makes his money in route running. And so what's going to be interesting to me is, yes, he can play the ball in the air, but can he be there when the ball's coming?
Yep, that's good. That's good. But, again, thank you for watching. As John always says,
be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share.
And bigger than anything, it's game week.
It's game week. And comment Tigers by 90.
Yeah, that's the word of the day. Tigers by 90. So
Dogs by 90.
If you got this far in the video, comment.
Until next time, keep talking ball and go Tigers.